Okay, so here we are again on another beer adventure. I'm here at Versailles Brewing Company with Mr. Mark Phipps. I appreciate you guys putting up with me. I'm just a big nobody trying to be a somebody. So your patience is greatly exaggeratedly needed and appreciated. We've got Mr. Mark Phipps. He's the OG in the game. We have Mitch Pace over here, and the newest member is Desiree. Say hello. I appreciate you guys putting up with me. And just got a couple things to ask you. We're having, this is a Hell Yes.
Cheers.
And this thing is one of Mark's first attempts. And this is a lager.
Not one of my first.
Okay, all right. Something
That's
I found.
my first lager here.
First lager here.
Yeah.
Okay, his first lager here. My bad. Anyway, I kind of wanted to get started. I mean, what you've been doing it for a long time, I know, Mark. What kind of got you into it in the past? Where did you give me a history of yourself? How'd you get into it? What's your origin story? If you were Iron Man of beer, what would your origin story be?
I started working part-time at Shaneling Brewing Company in Cincinnati, Ohio, while I was still in college. And the president of the brewery liked the way I worked, and so he decided to keep me on and sent me to brewing school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I loved everything about working there, and it was a family operation.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I left there in 1990 and joined Alltech before Alltech had a brewery.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what brought me into this region. And then I joined them in 1990, and then in 2000 or 1999 was actually when we bought the Lexington Brewing Company. And I got to be the first master brewer for Lexington Brewing Company.
Nice.
Back then. We started Kentucky Ale and Bourbon Ale.
I'm trying to get in with those guys at Lexington Brewing Company. I'm just, like I said, a big nobody, so sometimes I have trouble getting in
Well,
with
you
some
got two
them.
of us now.
Yeah.
And Mitch was there
Yeah.
for 9 years as well. And,
Well, Mitch, answer the same question if you don't mind. What do you think? Speak up just a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I went to school for Homeland Security degree at EKU. I was bartending throughout college. My love for beer got me into the industry, to be honest. I didn't have any experience. Started off kegging and moved my way up to brewery supervisor. I worked with Alltech for 9 years, and I got recruited here.
Well, I agree with your desire to change, because who needs people to do Homeland Security? We need we need better beer, man.
I agree.
Who needs there's plenty of guys that can do that. We got to take the beer talent, and put it into the right place, man. Desiree, introduce yourself and tell us how'd you get here? Were you working for the FBI and decided to come here? Or?
Very close.
Very close, right. Tony Stark.
I went to trade school instead of university, and was a traveling security technician for a number of years before moving from Utah to Kentucky about a little over 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This was actually the first job that I got. I started here as a server on the floor, and slowly just made my way up and up, and somehow now they let me brew the beer. That's the whole story.
I'm jealous.
she's part of the team.
I'm freaking jealous,
Earned
man.
her place on the
Any
team.
place ever was a server at, I couldn't stand it long enough to be. Of course, craft beer breweries is sort of a new thing. Anyway.
It's cool. I also have two excellent bartenders, so it's nice to have them mix me something every once in a while.
All right, well, let me ask you guys this. Seems like an odd question, but do you have a beer philosophy? Is there such a thing? I ask everybody this, by the way, and I get mixed answers, but is there such thing as a beer philosophy?
You want it from me?
Yes. You've been doing it the longest.
I think I already mentioned to you earlier that I think every beer has its place. That's a philosophy.
Yes.
But I think so. So it doesn't matter whether it's Bud Light or whether it's the most crafty thing you could ever come up with. I think that every beer has its place, and because it's a work of art. It's like a chef in his kitchen, you know. And if you can make something that people want, then do it. And so we're not afraid to have Bud Light on tap next to my beers because some people like that, and more than half of our customers like our beers.
Yeah.
So we're fine with that. But I respect beer. Okay. So that's the first part of my philosophy. The second part of my philosophy is I like to brew traditional beers, and I like to do them really well, and as true to style as possible. So that's been since I got to do that here for the first time in my brewing career. That's what I've done. Is try to brew traditional beers and do them well and as true to style as possible.
Yeah, I understand about the Bud Light because you're really, I mean, you're turning off some large percentage of the, because when it all comes down to it, it's still a business. And we all want to make great art, have great beer and all that, but if nobody's buying it, no matter how good it is, there's a roadblock somewhere down the road.
I went to brewing school with those guys, okay? They're good brewers, and they can brew anything they wanted to. It's just they're brewing what sells for their company.
See, that's interesting because Andy at Alexandria Brewing Company told me something that I didn't really know, and that was like sometimes these clear, crisp, these lagers are as hard or harder than brew than some of the other stuff because you have room for mistakes because it's all about flavor and complexity. So it can be a little more caramel or a little more whatever, and that's fine. But this has to be. It's a little hard. Is that correct? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think temperature has a lot to do with it, and the lager process takes a lot longer to get through. And it's important to keep all the temperature and everything where you need it to be
just
consistent.
right.
Yeah, consistent and true to this.
Yeah.
The lighter you make your beers, the more vulnerable they are to show faults.
Right.
And so when a company can produce beer consistently without faults.
Yeah, because that's clear and crisp. If there was a mistake in it, it would be, you'd notice it quicker, more easily. What's the word? I don't know. You get my point.
Sure.
Yeah. It's more of a flag, I guess.
Very much.
I see that a couple things I found interesting. You went to Siebel Institute of Technology, and I've seen on LinkedIn you speak Serbian and Croatian.
Yeah, that's kind of the same language,
Really?
but a little dialectical difference.
A little accent different, but yeah.
Slightly. Yeah.
Right.
How'd you see that?
I had to do my homework. I had to ask. Yeah, we have to have something interesting.
Yeah, I speak fairly fluent Serbian.
Well, interesting. Is that you're just like your parents from there, or?
No, I did work over there. Even during my time with Alltech, I worked over there. I was in country for 13 years. So,
All right. Well, let's do a salute in Serbian.
okay, we say živjeli.
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 You gotta look each other in the eye when you do it.
Živjeli. Živjeli.
Okay.
Živjeli. That's oddly personal.
That's the whole idea.
I'm gonna have
Toast is a
to.
toast.
Jivali.
I'll spell it out for you later.
I'll need help with that because look how I spelled it. Just a capital G.
You won't get it.
There's probably a K.
They don't have many vowels. They don't have
probably a
many
Z.
vowels over there.
There's probably like a Z and a K in there, right?
Sure.
For no reason at all. Okay. I found that interesting, right? What are your future plans? Where are you guys going? I mean, do you have anything upcoming? Do you have? Are we gonna teach Desiree the business, and she's gonna open one in Louisville or Cincinnati? Is Mitch? I mean, what's kind
I
of our?
actually operate as our head of sales, but I think our next real goal for the brewery right now is we're planning a little bit of a small scale expansion. We'd like
Nice.
to basically double our fermenter capacity here in the next year or so.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Now I know you're talking about you would rather become the grandpa of the craft beer than the daddy OG, as you kind of back off some, is this a moment of you're looking for people you want to come in and solve problems, not make problems?
Well, I'm part owner here, and so I'm
You'll always be
invested in it. And, I just wanted to build a team of people that could help us go into the future and take the next steps. And you know, there comes a time when you have to step back and let other people bring their talents along and do some things too. And I think that's timing is now.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, I need to hire people because my touch on like social media is probably not where the younger crowd is, quite frankly. So I probably need help with that myself. You know what I mean? And that's just an example of, you know, how these things move along. You know.
Yeah. I can be an old stodgy guy as long as I want to be, but if I got young talent who can take it forward and take it to the next level, that's fine with me.
Yeah, he's sensei.
Sensei.
It's the sensei. Right. So I guess you're the one that makes sure everybody's clear to work here because of the Homeland Security, I guess.
I check him at the door.
Check them at the door. Okay, I'll see your ID. Any weird tattoos?
It's more of an ocular pat down.
You look that you're holding those flowers
Your
wrong. You're from
tattoos
Eastern
are
Europe.
actually a requirement, aren't they?
Well, when I was in the Army, it was almost like if you didn't have a tattoo, it was like, are you sure you're in the right place? Yeah, I'm not sure you're fitting in. But it wasn't the full sleeve thing. But anyway, last question, I guess. But if you wanted anybody, the public or some dumb schmuck like me, to know something, some detail about beer, what do you think it would be? If you was going to teach somebody something, what would it be? I mean, give me a detail or something about beer people should know.
Beer from the old guy?
Yeah.
Beer is liquid bread.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. I mean, there's nothing but good nutrition in this. I mean, everybody kind of concentrates on the alcohol part of it, but it is a well-rounded, nourishing beverage, and it's also a whole lot of fun to drink, and it's a whole lot of fun to create too. I think everybody agrees with that here, and so I think as far as beer is concerned, I think it's still underrated. I mean, we're in Kentucky, and it's of course a bourbon state. However, our brewing community has grown quite a bit here, and we're proud of that and happy about that. And I think that what's really interesting about what we've done is meld the distilling industry with the brewing industry, because we were really the first people to grow the barrel-aged beers, and at least the ones who did it nationally, when we were the Lexington Brewing Company, and now we're doing barrel-aged beers here too. So we enjoy that because it melts two different trades into something that really has the same kind of love and heart center in Kentucky, and I think they go together well.
What do you think, Desiree? Is there something?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a huge part of our industry, and particularly the way that we handle our beer making here, beer making is as scientific as you would like to make it. We have lots of equipment here that allows us to make our beer as precisely as we possibly can, and modeling it after, very historical styles of beer. Our reverse osmosis system allows us to have pure H2O that we decide what to add to create the base model for the water for each beer. And that stuff is absolutely fascinating. This stuff is as scientific as you want to make it, and when you get deeper into that process behind, it really lets you know what lends itself to a real quality product.
Interesting. It's almost like a level of chemistry that way beyond more than you would think. I mean, I guess most people think you just boil it for 12 minutes, pour it in a thing, and let it age for 17 minutes or whatever. I don't know. And then all of a sudden you have beer. It doesn't work that way.
Beer is biochemistry. At its best.
Yeah.
I'm a biochemist, and I love to teach biochemistry. And the best way to teach practical biochemistry is to teach beer.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. What do you think, Mitch? You have anything to add? I know I put you on the spot there. I made you go last, so they had all the easy answers.
It's hard to follow, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think what I find is a lot of people compare it to wine and bourbon and everything else, and it's not. It's very more complex than wine or bourbon, to be honest.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, down to the ingredients, the yeast. I mean, we're talking every little thing is the hops, aging, everything is just so much more complex.
Interesting. I never would have.
Proteins and.
Yeah, I never would have thought that. Like it's something I didn't know. I would have thought that the wine would be more complex and there'd be more patience for bourbon.
Yeah,
I guess.
It's
obviously I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm on this side of the camera.
And I guess another point is there's a beer for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I
would agree
hate
with
to hear that. Oh, I don't like beer. I haven't had a good beer. Just open your mind a little bit and try things. You're gonna find a beer for you. I promise.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Too many varieties.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have anything you want to add? You got any stories about this place? About Mitch tried to burn the place down one time because he forgot to set the timer on the crock pot or anything like that? I mean, because I love those. I mean,
He hasn't had enough.
I got him. I'm winning so far. I hit him with a little bit of wort on my second day here. I popped him with from the kettle, and some wort came back up and came out of the kettle a little bit and got on him. I felt terrible. I thought it was going to burn him, and I quickly ran off stage. And I was like, "What? Are you okay? I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
And
it's not the first time.
It's not.
It's not the first time.
It was probably our first week working together in Mark's absence. We were operating on different sides of the brewery and just, trying to come together to do the best cleaning that we could on some of our stuff. And I accidentally opened a valve I shouldn't have and sent 180-degree water straight at him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was
Didn't have to shave for a week after that.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Coached you.
No, it wasn't too bad.
That'd be the last time you have her come in early.
Yeah, we're even. I think.
Yeah, we're about.
But Mark owes me one for sure.
Breweries are they can be dangerous places if you don't know what you're doing because there's a lot going on. But you apply yourself and you do things correctly and look what
And that
comes
doesn't
out.
even count when the tankers come from Fort Knox and have too many, right? It becomes real dangerous then. Well, I appreciate you guys. You guys have anything at all to add? Let's end with a. I'm out of beer, but let's end with a Vagili. How you say it?
Givuli.
Givuli. Givuli.
That doesn't sound like I'm supposed to.